Welcome to the Tiny Marketing Show. I'm Sarah Noel Block, your host, and today we're going to be talking about content themes. You aren't seeing traction with your content marketing, and you don't know whether it's your content calendar, your audience, your distribution process. Something's failing, and you don't know what it is. Well, I'm here to tell you it is likely your content themes. When you try and talk to everyone, you're talking to no one. I spoke with Ben Saylor, formerly of CoSchedule, now with WordPress, a content strategist that is a genius with content themes. In this episode, we're going to dive into how to create a content theme that attracts the right audience. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome to Tiny Marketing. I'm Sarah Noel Block and I teach small marketing departments that are tired of feeling overwhelmed and under-resourced how to build and manage an effective and efficient marketing strategy that works for them. You get expert marketing advice from someone who's been there, done that. Get ready, it's time to dig in. Hi, thank you so much for joining me today. Do you think that you could introduce yourself to the audience?
I think I probably can. My name is Ben Saylor. I'm currently the content marketing editor for WordPress.com here at Automattic. And so I've been here for about a month. Previous to joining Automattic, I was at CoSchedule for about 6 years. And most recently there, I was the inbound marketing director. So things are still pretty new here at Automattic, but yeah, it's been really great so far.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I learned about you because I love CoSchedule's blog, and so I just started stalking you on LinkedIn a little bit, like a normal human, and then eventually we ended up chatting on there.
Nice. Well, thank you for the kind words about the CoSchedule blog. I spent most of my time at CoSchedule, working on the blog in various capacities, and I'm really glad to hear that. And also, I know that the CoSchedule blog will continue to be a good resource, for people, well after my time with it has passed.
Yeah, what stood out to me about it was how specific it was. Everything was through the lens of productivity, project management, and that's what I love, is being able to think about things in terms of the processes it would take to be able to establish that. And that's why I wanted to have you on this show, so you could explain how you came up with that just killer theme and that content strategy that was so narrow but still so broad. It was really through a very specific lens that I respected and I emulate.
Yeah, for sure.
Before we get into the serious questions, though, I want to get to know you a little bit better. What is your happy song?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Andrew WK's Party Hard.
Tell me why.
It's a timeless classic, very uplifting, very deep.
And you can party hard while being deep.
Yes, it's very, there's a lot of layers to the meaning in the lyrics. No, I just, when I think of happy music, my mind just goes to Andrew WK. It's his, and positivity in general, just kind of being his MO. But that'd be my choice.
All right. I'm making a playlist of all my guests' favorite happy songs, so I'm adding that right after this so I don't forget it.
Nice.
Yes. All right, let's get into the meat. Can you explain what a content theme is for anyone who might not know?
Yeah, for sure. So I think that, like so many different terms that we use in content marketing, I think a content theme or just that phrasing is something that I think a lot of different people could use to mean lots of different things potentially. It could be like a recurring theme that is consistent across all of your content, like something that may be like an underlying message or angle or perspective that's always present throughout everything you publish. Or it could be much more literal, where maybe you run a campaign or like a series of content that is all focused on, one overarching theme or umbrella topic. So I don't know, like I think that how you conceive of a content theme maybe just kind of depends on what that term happens to mean to you or to your organization. It's not something that like I feel like I've heard really defined or maybe commonly used in like super concrete terms, but I think for the scope of this conversation, I think we can think of a content theme as being something that kind of underpins everything you publish. Like what's the story or the perspective or the angle that you kind of approach everything that you publish through.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's important to have these content themes established, because no one's going to go to you as a resource if you're not known for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if you narrow it down to these 4 topics, these are the ones that I know like the back of my hand, then people will start to think about you when they think about that problem, and it eventually leads to the sale. But without those content themes within your marketing, you're just yelling into a void, I think.
Yeah, it can be really easy to try to be all things to all people.
Mm-hmm.
But that approach is definitely going to lead to publishing a lot of content, and it might even be really good content that's just detached from your product, that's detached from any sort of problem that anybody would buy your product or service to solve or improve, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I want to expand on that. So the workshop I was telling you about before this call, in it, I was defining how to create a content theme, and I created this graphic that was a Venn diagram. It's basically, what problem does your customer have? What solutions does your product or your service solve? And what's in the middle?
Yep.
And that's really where your content themes need to lie. Do you have any formulas or rules that you go with when defining your themes?
Yeah, it's a good question. So you've actually kind of summed it up pretty well. Where does your product and your customers' needs, like where do those things intersect? But I think from there, like you still have some work to do to maybe get a little bit more granular or make things more specific, right? So if you think about, let's just take CoSchedule as an example.
Okay.
And we'll just take maybe one product or one use case from them. So like, let's say you create content, you offer content calendar software. Content calendars aren't really your theme, right? That's not really the problem. That's the tool. That's the solution.
Right.
But so from there, though, you could start asking yourself, okay, well, what are some of the things that people use a content calendar for? What are some of the problems that a content calendar solves? So maybe that starts like some answers you might land on from there might be editorial planning, getting organized, creating a content schedule. Like there's dozens and dozens of different themes or different things that people might go looking for, or different terms they might use, or just different things that they might use a content calendar to help them achieve. or to help them get done. So from there, you could probably start bucketing, maybe some of those, I don't know what you might call them, like subtopics, different problems, different use cases, like however you kind of want to conceive of it. You might start grouping those things together and ask yourself, like, well, what's really the overarching, like umbrella term or topic or theme that kind of buckets all of those things together. So that might lead you to, I don't know, like, man, I just feel like this is not going to be super easy to understand. But maybe it's like content management becomes a theme. Maybe project management becomes a theme. Maybe content planning becomes a theme. But really what you're looking for is like a very high level topic that you can fit lots of smaller, more granular subtopics underneath it. And those are really going to be the things that you create content to kind of target, that all kind of align underneath one broader theme. And then of course, with everything you publish, that's also going to inform the perspective that you come at that content from. So I don't know. Does that make anything clearer at all?
No, it actually does. You're selling yourself short. So I'm going to sum up what I heard, and let me know if I'm completely off base and I heard the wrong thing. But you start off with the questions on how your product is solving a problem, why people are coming to your product to solve the problem, and the questions that are around that. From there, you can start to think about these subtopics. And then you go backwards. Within these topics, you can group them together into the themes. So you kind of reverse engineer those content themes and you move from the bottom up.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of summarizing it. Like with everything, you kind of start with the problems your customers are facing and start with the questions they're asking. And then just kind of go from there. But yeah, I think that's a good way to sum it up. And then your themes are like, what is the highest level descriptor of those things collectively that you can arrive at.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned a lot about content themes and how to build them. So don't forget that Venn diagram. You want to go with the solution that your business solves, the problem that your audience has, where that meets in the middle. Those are where your content themes lie. If you enjoyed what you learned today, go to sarahnoelblock.com/newsletter and sign up for our weekly newsletter. It goes out every Tuesday a.m. And don't forget to follow Ben over on LinkedIn. The URL is in the description. And then meet with me next week, where we will continue this conversation on why you need content themes and how it will increase revenue. So you don't want to miss that. Ben's with me again. Don't miss it. And I'll see you next time. Wish there was no copyright and I could just play it, intro you like it'll be your walk-on MC song. Thank you for joining Tiny Marketing. I help tiny marketing departments create consistent content that builds trust with their audience. Book done for you content marketing at sarahnoelblock.com. Don't forget to follow the podcast on your favorite podcast app. And if you're watching this on YouTube or LinkedIn, make sure to hit the subscribe or follow button.